Two humorous nurses would like to acknowledge the true custodians of the land in which we record our podcast, the Yorta Yorta people.
We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders listening today. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Two humorous nurses.
And off the clock nurse.
Debrief time. We're in Bali.
Bali.
They all say Bali.
Oh, is that what they say in Australia?
No.
Oh,
That's what they say here. That's what Sam has been saying.
Oh, I feel like I've just been spaced out.
The whole time.
My trauma reaction to all the things that have happened.
So we're in Bali because you organised a group tour of 24 people.
Yes.
Not all of them are nurses.
I think only one is not a nurse.
Ryan.
Well, two
Okay.
are not nurses. Yeah.
And you thought that would go well.
I mean, the idea behind it is cool. I think maybe I shouldn't have had such a large group, but it's the first one.
No, and to be honest, it's been great.
Yeah.
It has been great, but I just worry about what their time management skills are like at their personal jobs. If what their time management skills are like here is in... Like, I know you're on holidays.
I think they're on island time.
But you're on a group trip. With set timelines.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no words.
And you're not very authoritative.
I'm not.
In your approach. You want to give people the options and at some point.
A lot of options. And I think going forward there's going to be not as many options, but also perhaps not as many people. Like you had mentioned, it's like herding cats.
Yeah.
Everyone's just
flitting around.
And it's fine. Like, I hope everyone's having a good time.
Yep.
And, my whole thing was, okay, this is a group of people who most have never even, not most, I'd say there's a lot of people who haven't even left the United States. This is their first international trip. This is their first group trip. This is, and even though you are on a group trip, this is also your vacation too.
Yeah.
And so, I also feel like there's that urgency to try and fit as much in as possible, because when are you going to come back?
And it's such a long way to come.
So long.
Like, some people were travelling in 33 hours.
Yeah.
And I travelled 5.
My ankles were so swollen. They're like sausages. I'm like, whoa, this is some pitting edema.
I can't remember who I was talking to. She's like, I've literally been in transit for 33 hours. And she's like, how long was your flight? And I was like, 5. But I had severe vertigo the whole time. So mine was just as bad as yours. Yeah, she's like, no.
You missed... I literally... Okay, you guys, I walked up to say hello to Kelly for the first time in person ever. We've chatted through Instagram. I go, hey, how are you doing? She pulls out a hospital puke bag and just vomits. Complete dry heaves. And I was like, welcome. And I hope you are going to have a fantastic time.
So the day before I left on Friday. The day before I left on the Thursday, I was like 2.5 hours away from finishing my shift. And I was eating lunch, and I'll never be able to eat spicy tuna sushi again. And I was like...
From the hospital?
No, we walked down to the sushi shop and got sushi. We always do on a Thursday, so sushi Thursday. And I was like sitting there with my 2 colleagues, and Georgie looks at me and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm really dizzy. I'm like, it'll pass, don't worry about it. Well, literally 5 minutes later, I was on the floor. about to vomit. They're like running around trying to get me a bag, and I was like I've puked for 2 hours, like full dry. I like pissed my pants. They get me into a wheelchair because I was like, I couldn't open my eyes. The room was like not just spinning, like it was like it was like I was in a centrifuge. Like it was just going, and I could not stop vomiting. And so they get me in the wheelchair, and then they get me up to the urgent care, and they literally wheel me through a waiting room full of people, and I'm like in a vomit bag puking, and every time I puked I peed, and by the time I got to the urgent care I said to the nurses in there, I'm like, I pissed my pants. She's like, it's fine, we'll clean you up. I was like and she calls a doctor, and she's like, Kelly's got vertigo, and I'm like, she's like, get on the bed, and I was like, I cannot move. Like I was gripping onto the wheelchair, like thinking I was going to fall off. She gave me a jab of Stemetil, and then I was like, I need to go to the toilet. And the doctor had come by this stage, and she goes, oh, you look terrible. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Already pissed yourself.
Yeah. Like I don't know why I thought I needed to go to the toilet, but I like needed to go. I should have just kept going, but anyway. And then the doctor's like, you know, you'll be all right. Like it'll pass. Like, have you had any head trauma? Should I CT you? And I was like, no, I've been getting like little dizzy periods all week, but I've been like so stressed. And you know, when you're like planning for a holiday and like you literally know the end is in sight. Like I knew the end is in sight. I just had one meeting to go and I was out of office. And I think my body just went, hold up, bitch. Take a second. Anyway, the doctor's like, have you got tomorrow off? And I was like, I'm getting on a plane at 9:30. And she's like, no, you're not. And I was like, no. Yeah, I'm literally, when you discharge me, I'm driving to Melbourne to like go to the hotel. And she's like, no. And I was like, yes.
What a journey. I'm so glad you made it.
So the drugs were enough to get me in the car the 2.5 hours down to Melbourne. I get into the hotel room and I literally just pass out. And then the next morning I got on the shuttle bus at 6 a.m. I was so dizzy. I did not know how I was going to do it. And then I took drugs and the dizziness settled. Then I got on the plane, and that was like, I think that was literally the worst thing I could have done. I did the 5 hours on the plane with my eyes shut, not moving. I had to pee, and I got up and I went into the bathroom. And thank God those toilets are, like I couldn't have fallen if, like there's no way I could have fallen. I barely fit in the toilet. And I stood up to pull my pants up, and I sat back down again. I was like, but I would have fallen if I had, like my seat was literally right, the very last seat of the plane. So I just came out and gripped the wall and then gripped my chair. And the lady next to me, she was like, I need to go to the toilet. I said, you're going to have to get out the other way. I can't get up. I was the last person off the plane. I thought, oh my God, they're going to pull me over in Bali because I'm on drugs. Like I couldn't read the signs. I was that dizzy. Finally find Sam, our tour guide, and because like he's texting, but I can't read it. And I couldn't put my PIN in to pay the lady at the visa. I had to tell her my PIN number because the keypad was moving that I couldn't actually touch the keypad. And I would get to the immigration, and the guys, I could hear him talking to me, but I couldn't hear him. And I kept saying, excuse me? And he's like, how long? And I was like, 7 days. And I'm like sweating profusely, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get detained.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to have a cavity search.
We've got another Chappelle Corby. Like, and then I say to Sam, how long's the bus ride? And he's like, 1 hour. And I was like, no. And then all the nurses that we were there just like kicked into gear. They were like, do you want a patch behind your ear? What are those patches called?
It's like a polyamine patch.
Yeah, they're like, just put it on. And I was like, fuck, whatever. And then they're like, take this tablet, take that tablet. And then I had vomit bag, and I just sat in the very front seat of the little minibus through the tiny windy streets of Bali,
overdosing
on every single drug. And I just sat there with my eyes shut for the whole way. And then I meet you and just puke. Like
it was great.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, hearing all of that, what a journey. And you made it.
And we had dinner at this Lotus Park, and Lotus restaurant, and we had to walk across a little bridge to the temple. And I say to Leah, she's like holding my arm, and I say, it's really hard because the ground's so uneven. And she's like, it's really not. It's
not.
Like, it's not uneven. And I was like, oh, okay.
I think at first I was like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about because it's really not uneven at all.
Nah.
But yeah, we're just...
It's fine. It was uneven outside the restaurant for sure, but I didn't fall over.
Yeah.
And I didn't not go on the next day's adventures because I thought if I got on another moving vehicle, I would die. And so I sat by the pool. I dove into the pool because I thought maybe being in the water will like equalize my ear. I dove in and it was freezing. And I came up and I shook my head to get the water out and nearly passed out. I like went back under the water and I was like, fuck. And the pool was so deep. The shallow end was like 1.5 meters. I'm only 163 centimeters. Like I only just was like chin level. So I was alone as well.
You're using measurements that I don't know. So
5'4".
Yeah. What if we came back and you were face down?
I know.
And we'd be like, you remember when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Did you guys
Is she
ever do
faking
that?
it?
Like, is the lifeguard gonna know that I'm not actually dead, but I'm faking?
They just come up and they'd be like, yes?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Anyway,
namaste.
but I like made it and it was fun and I've had the best time since. Even though I did the monkey forest, like dizzy as fuck. And and Michelle gave me those glasses.
Do you guys have those?
No, I've never seen them before. She was like, put these on. And then I put a photo up on the podcast page the other day, but I'll put another one up. And they've got like circles on the front and on the side with like fluid in it. But they worked. As soon as I put them on, within minutes the dizziness was gone. Took them off, boom, dizziness back. Horrific.
Wearing them just always in everyday life.
Know. Now they all call me Gogs.
Like the
Goggy. I know, but I've never been dizzy like that. I've never taken so much Stemetil. And you guys have a cool drug called meclizine.
Yes.
Which I don't know if there's an equivalent of in Australia.
I don't know. But I remember you were like, oh, I'm fine. I took some Finnegan. And I was like, not going to say anything because I had to sit and process it in my mind. I was like, what is she? Finnegan.
I've never copped so much shit over one word.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you say... No, I can't ask you because you weren't there, so I'll say the word and then it will ruin it.
Okay.
I'll have to get Lisa to do it. She said the name of a flower and I was like, what the fuck?
I don't even know what that flower is. I remember you said it last night.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't remember because you were hopped up on Finnegan and
a cocktail. This cocktail that was so strong. Yeah. 4:30 p.m. Finnegan was not cutting it. But you went to the Gili Islands before you met up with us.
Yes.
To calm your mind before the
storm, but I almost think maybe I should have done it afterwards to calm my mind after.
To you. Yeah. To process.
Yeah.
The trip.
Yeah. I mean, should we just get into it? I shit
Go.
my pants when I was there. Is it truly a trip to Bali if you don't shit yourself?
My guts has been absolutely A-okay.
Oh, well, I guess that's one of us.
Yeah. Which is surprising. My husband's like, good luck there because I have the worst bowel habits in the world.
Oh. Yeah, so I was staying at this really nice, like, dive and stay because I wanted to do some scuba diving, and the restaurant is right on the beach in front of the hotel, and I was so full. I don't know why I kept eating, but the food was really good.
Yeah, it's so good.
And and I was like, maybe I'll just take 5 more bites. I was really full, but I had a lot left. And I was like, as Americans do, I'm like, I can fit it.
$6 meal.
I can fit it in me. And I had ordered a dessert because I was like, I just want something chocolate and whatever. So I still had this whole dessert, and I was like, nope, I need to save that. So I asked for a takeaway box, and he takes it to the back, the server.
Yeah.
And it just like my stomach, just like that, just like, and I knew in my mind that I had T-minus 10 seconds before everything was just going to explode. And I got up and I start walking back to the room, which was very close. It was very close. And the guy's coming out with my takeaway box. And at first he was like, "Ma'am, you still have to pay, and here's your takeaway." But everyone has the shit walk. Like
that butt clenched.
And then not just the walk, but the terror on your face of the horrendous act that is about to happen. So I got to the room and I'm like, with the key, I'm like trying to fit. Why is it that the key will never go in when you've got to shit yourself? And when you got to shit. And right there, I was like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. And it was just so warm. And I finally get it open and I run to the back. And I had to throw those shorts away. And I left the housekeeping. I mean, like, I didn't mess on the floor.
Yeah.
But I just took the shorts. I sprayed them off because they all have those, like, bidet hoses and stuff. And I was like, well, okay, things I didn't expect I would be doing on vacation, but here we are. And then I sprayed it down, and then I just threw them in the trash. And man, the housekeeping, when they open that trash can, they're going to be like, we know what happened.
Yeah.
We know exactly what happened. I was like, could I salvage these and maybe get them to laundry later? And I was like, no. I did the smell test. No.
We'll be like, R.I.P.
Yeah. Goodbye forever. My favorite shorts that I will never get back because they're like the one piece of clothing I purchased off Amazon that has not fallen apart right away.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So there was that.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then did you go back and pay and get your dessert?
I did.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a completely different outfit. And I had the look of shame. And they didn't say anything. They're like, here's your total. And thank you.
Do you need a doctor?
They probably see it every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like Bali Belly is like the biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, and also I was watching the sunset, and this was another night. I was watching the sunset and I was digging my feet into the sand and I was like, this is so nice. I love this. And I look over and there's a cat that is squatting and taking a shit in the sand, but also watching the sunset. It was very majestic, and I feel like we bonded there, but I definitely took my feet out of the sand.
The cats just have, like, luxury litter boxes. Yeah. The dogs, I knew about the dogs in Bali, but yesterday when we were driving from Ubud down to here in Canggu, some of those dogs are obviously so into bread that they are like I saw one dog that looked like it was a corgi at the front and like a Great Dane at the back. I was like, are you okay? I was like, just like a kid drew a dog and then someone made it. Yeah. Like I was like, you guys are just, we got welcomed when we arrived in the bus by a dog fight out the front with about 6 dogs just going for it.
Yes. And
I was like, yeah.
Were they fighting or were you like, oh, they're playing?
No, they were definitely fighting. I had his like teeth bared and a moped just like went straight through the middle of them. Like,
they do not care.
No. In the bus, because I'd taken a Finnegan at the farm and then we drove down here, which was like an hour and a half or something, because as Sam keeps saying, depending on the traffic. Yeah. And our driver, I kept asking him questions, but he doesn't speak any English. He had no idea what I was saying, I don't think. Or if he did, he couldn't answer me. Uh-huh. But I was like, not fearful at all, even though it is terrifying, the roads. I actually asked the driver at the hotel if there were road rules. And he just laughed. I was like, if there are, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, when I got here, the driver that picked me up,
Yeah.
they could tell that I was really nervous because there are all these scooters
Yeah.
everywhere, and I was like, oh, we're gonna hit someone, and I didn't say that, but I mean, you could just tell I was very nervous.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he goes, it's okay, just close your eyes. Like, if I close my eyes, it's not happening.
But the driver was like, he was chill. Like, he was texting. He was like speeding up. He just honked the horn all the time. And then I realized they're not honking the horn there's zero road rage.
No.
Like, you could just pull, like, they don't even look. They just go around corners.
Yeah.
One day, the main road, like, you know, like if you're driving straight on a road, if you're turning, you just wait for the traffic that's coming towards you to finish. No, they wait for you. Or they just wait for whoever goes first.
Yeah.
And I was like, not a single person seemed upset.
No.
There was no, I was like, and so I was like, okay, well, he knows what he's doing. And I've got front seat, so I can see it all. And at one point, a moped literally cut between us. And the guy was like pushing on the cars because he only just fitted through. And I like laughed and looked at, I think his name was Coleman, our driver. And he just like goes, nah. I was like, okay. Like if he had have like just gone forward slightly, we would have crushed him. But I was like, oh, okay, like whatever. What's been another favourite part?
I had a massage when I was on
Yes.
Gili Islands, and I had gone for a walk thinking that I was just, gonna go check out the island, and I was like, ugh, I'm really hot, and I looked over and it was like a massage. It was like $23 US.
Yeah.
It was super cheap for 90 minutes.
I know.
That would be like almost $200 US something, 150 at least, Anyway, so I go in and she's like, take all of your clothes off and put it in this basket. And I was like, all right. And she's like, and put these on. And it's this little rolled up mesh panties, like disposable panties. And I'm like, all right. And then so I put them on and I'm looking around and there's no sheet to like cover you. And so I'm like, I guess I'm just laying down, on this table. So face down. And the way that you come in, it's like when she comes in, my ass is right there. So, like, not a great angle on me. But, she's a professional.
Yes.
She does this every day. It's fine. So she puts on this really relaxing music, this aromatherapy, and my face down. She's like, you comfortable? And I'm like, yes, thank you. Yeah. It's lovely. And then all of a sudden, it's so quiet, and I just hear this creaking, like the massage bed creaking, and I'm like, oh, she's straddling me right now. She's like over me.
No.
Yes. And I'm like, okay. And then she hasn't even started massaging yet. All of a sudden she takes the mesh panties and she pulls them down below my ass. So I'm like, okay, what is happening? And then you just hear her get this like oil.
Yeah.
And she like starts massaging my butt.
She started with your butt?
She started with the butt. And then not only did she start with the butt, but she takes her hands like I don't know, transverse or what, I don't know how to say, parallel, and she pushes it through my crack and then up my back and down, and she keeps going in that. She's like credit carding my ass with her hands, if you can imagine. And it wasn't like she didn't ask for consent, but I wasn't angry about it. It was pretty lovely.
She just takes implied consent, like you laid on that table.
Like I did not move. Maybe I said, ooh.
You clench your butt cheeks.
No, I relaxed, definitely.
Oh my God.
And it was really nice. And afterwards, like, I gave her a very big tip. And she was like, thank you. And I said, no, thank you.
I have plans to like walk up the street and just get a massage today, and I'm just going to stick with my feet.
I thought you were going to be like, I'm going to specifically request the ass crack.
Did you do the credit card thing? Oh my God. I think it's just so different, isn't it? Like, there's no, like, firstly, if you walked into a massage place in Australia and they just said, unless you know that's what you're going for, and say, take all your clothes off, be like, oh, okay. Like, normally they just say, leave your pants on, or like, like, whatever. Oh, yeah, oh my God. That's nice, though. That would have been nice. Like, lucky she didn't know about what happened to your ass, like, prior to the massage.
I mean, if a job needs to get done, she is the one to do it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Our guide, Sam.
Sam is the best.
He's so amazing.
He's so patient.
The man is a saint. And I don't know, like, from now on, in my everyday life, I need to channel my inner Sam.
Yes.
Because I've gone to him. Yes. I've gone to him with so many issues, like just like things that have like weren't set up that were supposed to, or things that changed, I guess.
Yeah.
And every time I walk up to him, it's an issue. So now whenever I walk up to him, like after the first 5 times, I've been like, this is an issue. We need to. Every time I walk up to him, he closes his eyes, and I think he's counting to 10, and I don't start until he opens his eyes, and I honestly think he thinks I'm just gonna walk away because he's standing there with his eyes closed, but he opens his eyes, and I'm like, boo, still here. So he like closes his eyes, and then he opens them slowly with a smile and a head nod, and he's like, yes, hello. And I'm like, Sam, this is on fire. We need to put this fire out. And he goes, yes, okay.
You're like, Sam,
thank you.
What if we go to this waterfall instead of this waterfall, because we really want to go to this place? And he's like, yes. And you're like, so we'll just see who wants to go here and who wants to go here. And I'm watching you have this conversation, and I'm like, you're our fearless leader. You need to make the decision, because I've seen in the very short time I've spent with the group, none of them are going to want to go to they're going to want to go to like 2 other waterfalls, not either one of the ones that you've said. And Leah's like, so we have 2 options. And I was like, you're crazy. And I was also on the bus after that, because it was all after the welcome dinner. And I was on the bus with my head on my arm. I was like, someone make a fucking decision. I need to go to bed, because I'm not going to any fucking waterfall. It's like, I'm done. I know. But he's like, yes. And then the next day you're like, will we be back in time? Because some of them want to go back to the temple, and some of them want to go back to the waterfall. And he's like, depending on traffic. And he's just so patient. So after we did the coffee, and then this was like day 2 or something, and then so some people were going back to the temple for the blessing, some people were going back to the waterfall because they didn't get to do it the day before. And everyone had ranged cars, but Sam didn't know where anybody was. So people had disappeared to go get coffee. We were going, me and a few, like 5 others were going back with Sam to have lunch, because we didn't want to do the temple or the waterfall. And Sam didn't, I was like, don't leave without us, Sam. We're the only ones that matter. Like, the rest of them can find it's their own. And he's like, no, I need to know. And I was like, and then he goes, how many got in that car? And I was like, how many seats are in the car? And he said 7. And I said, well, all the seats were full, so there's 7. And he's like, okay. I said, I'll keep count for you. And then he's like, where's everybody else? And I was like, I don't know, Sam. They look like they're over there. I said, don't worry about them. But he's like, I am worried about them.
No, and I told him the same thing, which, you know, like he's
got a job to do, I guess.
He's got a job to do, But because he came over and he's like, where is everybody? And I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I stopped keeping count after the second day. I'm going to have an aneurysm.
My cats,
are
they're wild. They're not indoor anymore. They're shitting on the beach.
Yeah, they're shitting on the beach right now, Sam.
When we got to lunch, because there was only 7 of us that went to lunch, and Sam was like hovering around, and we're like, sit down. And he's like, well, I'm like, you can have lunch with us. Like, there was 8 seats. And he's like, no. And we're like, sit down. We're like, going to buy you lunch. You deserve it. And then Sierra's like, unless you don't want to. If you want to break, that's fine. But we would love for you to join us.
I'm sure it was okay.
Yeah.
So the selfie podcast girls had Sam as their guide when they were here. And so they actually recommended him to me. They're like, he's so patient.
Yeah.
And you really do need that. And so the first time I met up with Sam, because we have like a little debrief meeting at the beginning of each day.
Yeah.
Not a debrief, but like a
catch up.
And so the first time I met him at the first hotel, we sit down and he goes, thank you for requesting me so that I have a job. Yeah. I've never had a group this large.
It shows. Because we're all crazy. He was saying at lunch, because we asked him, like, do you do this often? Do you have more groups? Have you ever had this many people, like nurses? Like, are we the worst? Like, we know we are. We're really sorry. Like, and I was like, it's not me. It's the Americans. Like, the Australians are fine. And he was saying that, that you had requested because of like Sam and Tori. Mm-hmm. And he was like, it's so fun. And I was like, is it?
I think he's getting paid to say that. No.
Yeah, but who cares? Like, I think, like, he has long days. Like, we have long days, but he has a long day because it's like an hour and a bit for him to get there from where he lives and to go home. And, like, it was really nice at that lunch because we asked him all about his wife and his family, and, like, he just talked, like, really freely, and it was really lovely to kind of get to know him, because I feel like it was the same when you go on cruises. Like, your room person, like, you know, they leave little treats for you, and like, I just think,
he's so kind. And
I know.
I told him after the first day, because he was like, so we should leave by 8, or we should leave by 9, and I said, okay, you need to tell people 8:30. You need to send out in the message that we're leaving at 8:30, and then maybe we'll leave by 9. And he's like, so I will arrive at 8:30. I was like, no, you don't arrive until 9. He's like, I cannot. He's so cute. He's so nice, and he's like, I don't want to lie.
Because he was telling us about the karma. And the farm, Eddie at the farm was, you know, how he was saying, Sam was telling us about that too. So I feel like, but we're like, it's not lying. It's people management.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and still, we leave until after
9:15. We were all on the bus.
Yeah.
Almost.
I go with a couple stragglers, but I don't know. I feel like it's been pretty fun. We've only had one casualty with Sierra's chin at the monkey forest.
Yeah, they loved her.
Yeah, she got scratched, and then had to go to the infirmary there.
Yeah, at least they didn't bite her. Although there is a picture with a monkey that looked like it literally is about to, like, her face like. And the monkey's like looks like it's latched on, but she didn't get bitten, but it looks like it's like literally about to bite her. The monkey forest wasn't as terrifying as I thought it was going to be.
No.
I did steer clear of all the monkeys.
Yeah,
though.
if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone, but if you go and search, they will.
One came towards me and I was like, I don't consent. Like, I'm not allowed to touch you, and I just, like, turned my back on it. Lisa was walking around going, don't show your teeth. Don't show your teeth. Smile with your mouth shut. Like, But the grounds were really beautiful.
Yeah.
And those statues, there was a statue, and I wish I'd taken a photo of it on Snapchat, but obviously I didn't save it, so I just sent it to my friends. But it was like a statue of a monkey eating another monkey's ass out. I was like, what the fuck?
I know the statues. I love when there was one with like this really evil face or like crazy looking face. I was like, oh, I feel like that statue looks at me, and Kelly goes, well, take your tits out. Let's take a look. Cause all the statues have these big tits. We're just like nipple out.
She looks like me. I was like, get your tits out and let's see.
I was like, her boobs are definitely more perky than mine.
They're very rock hard.
Rock, stone hard.
Yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. What did we do after that?
It's all a blur.
Yeah, I don't remember now.
No, we did coffee.
Coffee, that's right.
And I feel so bad because I was very spaced out in the coffee presentation.
Oh,
I was like, can I just drink the coffee?
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to it. I also couldn't see the TV because I was sat behind all the tall people. So I stood up and could only just see over Ryan's head still. And I was like, fuck. And then I couldn't really hear him enough to... And I was still very dizzy. So I was like... I couldn't really hear what he was saying properly. So then I just gave up. And I just sat around and looked around. But I did buy some coffee because I only have an espresso machine. But they had an espresso pods. So I was like, oh. Because the coffee in Bali is amazing. I'm drinking my coffee black, and I never drink my coffee black.
Oh.
It's delicious. Who knew?
I think everything here is really
The food is incredible.
Yeah. That meal yesterday,
Oh.
I feel like that's all I said yesterday is I just walked around to everyone because I try when we're together as a group to kind of mingle, get around to everyone, and that's like all I said to everyone. I was like, how was the lunch?
I know.
It was delicious.
I know.
So good.
It was so good. And I feel like, because Lisa was in our group of 4, so they brought out like a share platter of Balinese food in groups of 4. And so Lisa had her own because she's like gluten-free vegan, which always makes me laugh. But she had her own, which was the same size as ours. Like, it was huge. And I was like, can I have a bit of a taste? And at the coffee break in the farm, because we did went to a traditional Balinese house and learned how to make a offering, and then how they make their chocolate and their coconut oil. And then we had a coffee break, and they brought around like little Balinese cake sweets thing. And Lisa had this like fruit thing on it, and all of us tasted it, and none of us could really describe the texture or the taste of it. And I was like, I reckon that would taste delicious deep fried, with like a bit of salt, deep fry, and a bit, because it wasn't sweet.
Yeah.
And then at lunch, out comes this bowl of stuff, and she asked what it is, and it's that deep fried fruit. They'd fried it, and I was like, oh, I need to taste that. Like, I need a bit of chili sauce, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But it was delicious.
So you guys didn't go to the farming area, and so I'll just let you know what you missed.
I feel I've seen all the photos, and I feel like I missed
nothing.
No, I really wanted to see the kangaroo. I really want to see the cow.
Oh, but were you gonna? I didn't get in, which, I mean, I think a lot of people had a great time, but they like sat on this. What is it called? A hoe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why you said it like that.
A
hoe.
Behind the cow?
Behind the cow.
Yeah.
And while they're riding this hoe behind the cow, the cows are like urinating and shitting. Shitting. And you're just... And then I'm like, where do they wash off? Because it's like all in mud.
Yeah.
It's like thick,
the rice paddy
mud. And I was like, where are they going to clean off? And it's
and
like
they all had to put those attractive shorts on too.
Yeah. Well, they were supposed to be able to change out of their clothes and into those, but nobody showed them the changing room, so they put it over their clothes. I think some got it like seeped through onto their clothes. But that was another thing. I was like, ooh. That would have been good to know what we were actually doing.
Sam, well, I guess the problem was because we were with Sam the afternoon before, so he told us all about it. So I knew we were making an offering. I knew that if you wanted to go on the rice paddy, you should have worn shorts. But you would get boots and covering.
Oh, we did not get boots.
So they went in bare feet. Oh, yeah,
Barefoot.
okay. No, thanks. Because I was like, maybe I would have enjoyed going because I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
But now I'm glad I probably didn't.
Yeah. And then they just had like a bucket of water.
Also, I got so sunburnt and we were barely in the sun. Imagine if I had been... And like, he gave them all coconut oil and they were all rubbing coconut all over their arms. And you're like, we're about to go stand in the blazing sun in a rice paddy and they've just all oiled up. Like, I was like, good point. Yeah, I'm hot. I'm going to go back. But we got cold sitting because the breeze under that in the lunch area was like beautiful.
You know, honestly, I feel like the weather has not been
perfect.
Terrible. It's been really nice.
Yeah.
It's not super humid. I mean, yesterday was the first day I felt like I could rewear my outfit because I didn't seep through with sweat. But and I personally have not really gotten bitten by
me
mosquitoes.
Either. No.
So.
And I've only really coated up once, like at night, before we go out for dinner or something.
Yeah.
But I haven't been bitten by anything.
Maybe they don't have as many mosquitoes.
So, when the first hotel we went to, they were really attentive and they would come around, like when we arrived, they came around and showed you like everything in your room and it was really lovely. And she's like, a man will come like later and put out mosquito stuff. And I was like, okay. And so he came and I'm like really awkward when they come into my room because I want to feel like I'm welcoming and friendly. And so he comes in with a mosquito coil lit and he's just sort of like put it around the room and then he gets the mosquito coil container and he puts it out on the balcony. And so I say to him, oh, do you get many mosquitoes here? And he literally looks out the window and with a presentation hand just swiping across out the window, he says, it's the tropics. And I'm like, yes. That's a silly question. And he just like nodded. And I was like, I know there's mosquitoes here. Like, I'm very aware of that. Why did I ask that? I could have asked anything. I was like, oh, as he's like literally bringing in a mosquito coil to like protect me from it. Is there mosquitoes? It's the tropics. So I spent the whole time waving to the tropics.
So I get a text. I've been keeping my phone next to me just in case, you know, there's any issues and people send messages and I can see it right away. So one of the travelers, so Cass, she texts me. She's like, can you talk really quick? And I'm like, yeah. So I call her. She's like, I got back to my room and there was a man in my room and he was closing the curtains because that's what they do. They come in with the mosquito coil and then they close the curtains and they turn the lights on.
And they turn down the bed like it's like a turn down service.
Yeah. Well, she caught him right in the middle of the turn down service, but this was her first night. This was like the first night there. She's like, there was just a strange man. And so I said, what are you doing in my room? And she said, he goes, no. And so I explained to her who he was and what he was doing. And she was like, oh. But I could just imagine the fear in him. Like, no, I'm supposed to be here.
Because they were so, like, that. It's very different to the hotel we're in now. Like, the hotel in Canggu is, like, super touristy, like a proper hotel. But the one in Ubud was, like, just beautiful, calm. Everyone, like, there was a lot of assistance for anything. Like, they couldn't do more for you. And they, like, every morning they came and did your room. And every evening they came and did your room.
Yes.
Like, even they just turned it down, but they still cleaned everything up. Like, I kept putting my toilet paper, because the toilet roll holder was on my left-hand side, but behind me, and I'm a right-hand toilet paper gal. Yeah. So I kept taking it off the holder and just putting it on the floor next to the toilet. And I every single day it would be back on the toilet roll, and I'm like, thank you,
game.
put it back. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, I really loved it there. Like, I will definitely go back.
Yeah.
I would love to bring Amelia, and like
really
the rice paddies, the noise, the nature, like the crickets and the frogs, and like it was just so peaceful. And it was so nice just to sit outside the whole time in their restaurant area, and like, I don't know, they were just super friendly.
Yeah. Here there's a bunch of construction.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it doesn't sound like
it's
nature
not.
here. It sounds like a city.
Yeah, we're literally I feel like it's like the entire hotel is just surrounded by construction. It's fine. Like, I think when you get to the bottom floor, you can't see over the walls.
Yeah.
So you can't see the construction, and it's still like the hotel in itself is very nice.
Yeah.
But somebody was like coming in, and you know how like on Instagram they're like, oh, let me show you the room and this and everything around off of my balcony, and it was like you walk in and you're like, oh, that's a nice room, and they go out on the balcony, it's like construction. I'm like,
I went out to get the chair from outside for you to sit on, and they, like, there's all construction workers just there. They were all staring at us as like, hi,
like, cat calling
hello.
What happens in Bali stays in Bali.
I've had the best time though. Like, once I got over my after the first day, and the dizziness was enough for me to like be able to get back on the bus. I've had the best time. I'm looking forward to the next couple of days just being a bit more chill, and like and it's nice that I feel like I haven't gotten to know everybody in the group, but it is such a big group, but I feel like I've made like really good friends with like a small part of them, and like we had a really nice night out the other night, and like I don't know, I've just laughed so much, and it's just been like, I'm so glad I came, like
good.
I was like straight in as soon as you said Bali. I was like, fuck yeah, like it's 5 hours away, like why wouldn't I? But yeah, and I did have reservations because I don't do this, like I've never been on a group tour, and I feel like just being old sometimes, but this year I was like, no, it's my year of doing hard things, and I've just had the best time. And it's been nice to meet people that you've talked to, like to meet you, and to meet people that you've sort of talked to online, and everyone, like, nursing's nursing, although they did give me shit because we don't have an NCLEX. She's like, what's your standardized test?
You guys don't have a standardized
test?
test?
Fuck no, we finished uni, they're like, great, you're a nurse. You don't need to prove yourself again. Your $50,000 uni degree is enough for us.
Oh. Yeah, there are some people, well, they're like, because they want to get more money, so you have to then pay for the NCLEX. It's pretty expensive. It's like $300.
Oh my God.
I think. I don't know. It was so long ago. But, and then if you fail it, you just like keep retaking it. That's more money in the bank for them,
that's
you know.
true. It's all about the money, isn't it?
In the US.
Yeah.
It's just...
But there's like people that have been like, come and visit us, and I'm like, fuck yeah. I like, maybe eventually one day, if we're still friends in 2 years, when I like feel like I can travel that far again. But yeah, I feel like it's been a really fun experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like if people haven't had fun on this trip, despite the little hiccups, because you've catered to everyone's needs. So if anyone's listening to this that's on the trip and didn't have fun, maybe you're just not a fun person. You just evaluate your life.
But like, please leave me a good review.
Yeah, 5 stars.
5 stars.
Trover trip, yes. This is sponsored by TNAA.
Oh my god.
Nah, it's been great.
I'm exhausted.
And you have like a 30-hour trip home.
Yeah, I have an overnight layover in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Before I can get home, and I had a really great time, and I like going on vacation, and I made it 2 weeks because if I'm going international,
100%,
and I'm flying this far,
yeah,
it's gonna be 2 weeks. But I miss my dog.
Yeah.
And my bed and my
Yeah.
plants.
Plants.
Not so much work, but
Yep.
so
Yeah. I'm staying an extra night. So when everyone leaves on Thursday, I have the whole day by myself. Or Lisa will still be here too, but because I accidentally booked my flight home on the wrong day. Because I thought it was Friday to Friday, not Friday to Thursday. And then I went to change my flight, but because I flew Jetstar, it was cheaper to get an extra night in the hotel than it was to change my flights. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just get an extra day. So I don't get home till Friday, which will be great. And then I have another week off work as well. Because I feel like
you need a vacation from the vacation.
a week is never... Like, imagine if you get to go back to work on Monday. Like, fuck that. And I have turned off my phone email notifications. I have no idea what's going on, and I don't even care. Because I'm just... And I straightened my hair, and the humidity today is already beyond keeping it straight. But I was awake at 4 o'clock, and I needed something to do.
It looks fabulous.
It's already buffy. All right. Do you have any final words? She's got a trip to Japan, which is sold out, so bad luck.
Yes, but
get on the wait list. Galapagos?
Yeah.
Do you mean the Galapagos?
Galapagos.
Galapagos. The Galapagos Island. Galapagos?
Yeah, Galapagos. That's Galapagos.
Is
that not?
I don't think that's how you say.
I think
This has been the whole trip.
Here's the
Galapagos.
problem is what you're saying sounds the exact same of what I'm saying to me. I don't know what you're saying differently than me. Galapagos.
Okay.
Galapagos.
Yeah. That actually looks really fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit. It's a lot smaller group. There's still some spots left, but I capped it out because it's at 15 max because it's just there's gonna be a small hike, but snorkeling, and I'm like lots of beach stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of nature, and I need less cats to herd.
100%.
For that. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely less cats. So Leah's Instagram is at Off the Clock Nurse.
Off the Clock Nurse.
And on TikTok.
Off the Clock Nurse.
And on Facebook or not?
Off the Clock Nurse Travels. But I mainly use Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can find me there.
yeah. And she's put heaps of videos up from the trip. Are they all just stories, or are they saved on your feed?
Oh, I have a highlight.
Oh, perfect.
I have a highlight, and then I've made some reels. I've posted some pictures.
Yeah.
Some picture posts.
Yeah.
So they're all there, and still editing some things.
Content creating is
Content.
hard.
Influencer. Somebody did ask me, was like, what? I think it was Courtney, was like, how does it feel to be like the influencer of the trip? And I'm like, I honestly just feel like another person. Like, I don't feel, it's weird when people say that because I don't feel like I'm popular. I was really surprised this many people actually wanted to come with me because and so it kind of makes me put a little bit more into perspective, like, when I talk about shitting myself on my regular Instagram page, like, people are actually watching that, because it kind of just feels like you're talking to yourself a little bit, like nobody's really
listening.
They're just scrolling through it.
Because I have Alicia's tried to out me a couple of times with my poo story, and I've never told it because it's really embarrassing.
No.
But you just
Everybody
shared like
poops.
shitting. Maybe I'll tell it because we're getting long. So if you've made it this far, you get to hear my poop story. So I'm a bit like you. I don't have any medical conditions. I just have like irritable bowel. So I have like absolutely inconsistent stools. And we were driving home. We'd gone to the markets like an hour and a half away with my mother-in-law and my daughter. And I'd had a coffee. And then I had a donut full of custard and cream.
Oh, so good.
And then we were driving back, and I should have stopped in the city and had in our big town, and had gone to the toilet because I needed to go, but I was like, no, it's fine. It's only 30 more minutes. And that was absolutely the wrong mistake to do because like 5 minutes out, I had the sweats. I was butt clenching. My mother-in-law is like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it home. Like, and I was cramping and I was like, oh no. And then, yeah, and I was like, I need to pull over. I need a tree. And where I live is very flat. And yes, the roads are country, but they're quite busy, right? And there's not a huge amount of coverage on the side of the roads. And I was like sweating. And I was like, no, I can't do this. And I was like, in my console of my car, I have tissues and wet wipes. Can you get them out for me? And I was like, oh, there's a tree. And I'm like, literally, like, my ass is lifting off my seat because I'm clenching my legs. I'm trying to pull over. I'm trying to put my car in park, get out. And I thought, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. I had a dress on. And so I literally thankfully I pulled up next to a tree that was on a bit of a lean. I literally get around to the tree. I like pull the back of my dress up over my head and I lean back on this tree like I'm doing like a wall squat and I just shit. And it's like just liquid. Like it's like, just like I'm peeing myself. And Amelia's like, Mum, are you okay? And my mother-in-law's just turned the radio up in the car. I was like, don't look at me. Look away. It's like Bridesmaids when she's like, it's happening. I'm shitting in the street. And cars are going past. And I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like trying to wipe my ass. The flies are like whoosh straight on me. I've never had so many flies in my life. And I was like trying to wipe my ass and not step in the liquid shit that's like flowing around my feet. And I was like crying. And I was just like, oh my God. And then I like just was like cleaned up the best that I could. And then I just pull my pants up, pull my dress down. I get a shopping bag that's like a reusable shopping bag that's in the back of my car to put on my car seat, and I get back in and I was like, we just take off, and I was like, we are never talking about this again.
You see, and that's the difference between you and me, because you're like, we're never talking about this again, and then while I'm actively shitting myself, I'm like, I can't wait to tell 24,000 people about how I'm shitting myself right now on Instagram.
Well, she is so funny because every now and again she's like, because I tease her a lot, I give her heaps of shit, and like, I mean, I love her to death. Like, we're very close, but every now and again when I'm teasing her, she'll just remind me that she helped me shit on the side of the road. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, the things we do.
Humbling experiences.
Yeah. I was like, and so now I'm like, so yesterday when I knew we were going to be out for like a very long time, like it was going to be at least a 12-hour day, and I wasn't sure of the situation for how long bus rides and stuff, so I took like a gastro stop yesterday morning as a prophylactic measure. Even though I'd been absolutely fine, I was like, we'll just take that. We'll take some Nexium, we'll take some Stamatil, we'll take a Meclizine, I might take some Nurofen just in case.
Overdosing again.
Yeah. I've never taken so many drugs when I've taken in this week.
It's normal for Americans. So we've got our whole pill bottles. We're like, I don't know if I really need this. I'm just going to take
Some of the people in my bus got really bad sickness. Everyone's like, does anyone have Zofran? Does anyone have that? We're like, yes. I'm like, I've got a spew bag. Do you need that? Like,
we're like, I have penicillin.
Yeah.
Like, what is that injection, Rocephin, in your bag? How'd you get that customs?
I was on Saturday while you were all off doing like temple and stuff, and I was like by the pool like spinning on my fuck out. I like Googled IV hydration, like mobile IV hydration, because I was like, maybe because the IV fluids that I had before I came like literally helped so much. And so I thought maybe I could get someone to come and I could sit by the pool and they could give me an IV drip. But there was nowhere local to Uber that I could find that I didn't have to go to.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I need that now. So that's okay. But all right. Well, go see Leah and go to the Galapagos. Galapagos.
Well, I still don't know what you're saying different. Galapagos.
Galapagos. Yeah, Galapagos.
There's no G-U-U-S.
Doesn't matter.
O-U-S.
guess. In the bus yesterday, they were all throwing words at me. Say this, say this. What do you call this? How do you say this?
And it's like, oh, same as this.
Yeah, a lot of it was the same. And then other stuff. I was saying that root means sex. Like, so to have a root in Australia means to have, like, to fuck someone. So I was like, we would never root for our football team. And they were like, so what do you do? I'm like, we barrack. And they're like, so do you barrack at the barracks? And I was like, barracks is an army base. And they're like, I'm like, they're different. And they're like, no, you're saying it the same. I'm like, no, we barrack at the barracks. And they're like, no, that's the same. And I'm like, no, it's different. Like, it's the like the intonation of whatever the word is, the tone of the way you say it is different. And she's like, it's not. Like, they were like getting so angry at me. You're saying the same thing. I'm like, I'm not. Like, I was like, we barrack at the barracks. And she's like, fuck. Anyway, it was fun. And then this morning I was telling you something and everyone was like, we don't know what you're talking about.
I know. But did you like how I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he laughed. I was like, you guys are really boosting my humorous ego. Like, laughing at me all the time. Yeah. I'm really funny. Yeah, just smiling, nodding.
I know. And there's so many people that come and talk to me, and sometimes my hearing isn't great. So if I ask someone to repeat something a second time, or I never want them to have to, like, explain, like, a joke to me.
Yeah.
Like, if it's supposed to be funny, then
yeah,
I'm just gonna laugh. All right, you know. And so I feel like that's every once in a while it backfires because they're like that.
That
no, like funny. I was asking you something.
Like, no, my dad just died.
Yeah,
or,
and
like,
so anyway,
awesome.
This is great.
It's been so fun.
I know. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah,
and we're alive.
Yeah. We're all alive.
We're all alive.
All your cats are alive.
All my little wild catlings.
We just got to make it through 2 more group experiences and then you're like done. You can tap off. I feel like we all need to get drunk. But probably not before you fly out. Maybe we'll do it tonight.
I did see in the elevator there's happy hour.
Fuck yeah. But you guys are going to be back. We'll be back late from the food tour.
Yeah, whatever. It's not
the
like
girls were saying that the cafe up the road turns into like a nightclub.
Of course it does.
After. So we can go up there and like party with the scantily clad.
Maybe I'll get a...
young ones.
Get a barrack. Maybe I'll barrack. I don't know what...
Maybe you could just get a root.
Oh, a root. I'm going to have to re-listen to this podcast to figure out what that was again.
We're going to get Leah a root. Yeah. Or we'll just have our own party.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go and try and get a massage, a butt crack massage.
Be like, you're not going deep enough.
Yeah. Please massage my hemorrhoid. All right.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.